Hi everyone, I'm Carrie and I'm back finally for my, number 6, Flosstube number 6. It's been 3 weeks since I've been on here last, and I meant to film last week, but we had so much going on that no matter what I did, it wasn't going to work out. So today I have quite a few things to share. I have all of my Weenie Dog cross stitches that I've done. Just the Plum Street Sampler Weenie Dog stitches, but I'm going to share all of those because I saw the latest market release from Plum Street, Meanie Weenies, and when I saw it, I let out the loudest gasp. It is my #1 market pick. I pre-ordered it. I have the fabric. I am ready to go as soon as it hits my mailbox. I am super pumped about it. So I wanted to try to finish up the other charts in the series. So the only ones I had left, I think, were Spring Rolls, Jeans and Weenies, and Ugly Sweater Weather, which this one I'm still waiting on the fabric to come. So I think this is the only one that I haven't stitched. So yeah, I'm going to share all of that. And I'm just realizing that I forgot to trim the dog's toenails again. So there's going to be tippy tapping. Could you keep it down, please? Here, come here. You say quiet on set. This is Ginger. She's part of my Weenie Dog Parade. Thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. Say hi to everybody. She's so cute. Look at her. She's so squishy. She's so soft and squishy. Yes. So I look kind of tired today because I am. Ginger's 4, and just recently, like in the last couple of days, she's just decided she doesn't like her crate anymore. Like, she'll go in it, and I mean, for like 3 years, she was a total angel, and you'd tell her time to go 90-90, and she would run right into her crate and accept her treat, and then she would tuck herself in, and she was fine. And the last couple of nights, she has just gone on strike about it. And so last night, we put her in her bed. I got in bed. I was tired because we had been at a wedding. I'm like ready to go to sleep, and this one is sitting in her crate crying and groaning and grumbling and carrying on, and then she started barking, and we just kind of had to ignore her for about 45 minutes until she wore herself out. But it makes me feel terrible. So I don't know why we're suddenly doing that. I think she might be getting used to the fact that when she starts doing that, we will come and rescue her. And by that, I mean sometimes we just put her in the bed with us. And I think over time that has created the expectation that if she starts to do that, she gets to sleep in the big bed. And we don't want her to sleep in the big bed. So our bed is really high up off the ground, and if she were to fall out in the night, it would be catastrophic. So we don't really want the dogs in our bed with us. I would love it if that were possible, but it's just not ideal, not realistic. So anyway, Coco's got her crayon back here. She's so cute. Coco, what you got, Coco? What do you have? Yeah, so anyway, I forgot to trim their toenails. I know my last video, everybody was... Actually, a lot of people were... they liked the toenails in the background, the tippy taps of the dogs, so I thought it was distracting and annoying, so next time, I promise, I'm going to trim their toenails first, but I forgot. So, anyway, I'm going to get on with it. I have some life updates. The reason I couldn't film last week... So Monday was fine. It was a normal day. But I had scheduled an appointment to get our car detailed, like the interior detailed. It had been so trashed out for the last 2 years, and it really needed it. And I wanted somebody to get in there with a fine-tooth comb and really clean it. So I was really pumped about this appointment. We woke up early because we had to have the car there by 8 a.m. And our only other car is a 1969 Chevelle. And I don't drive it. Jake drives it. It's his car. So Jake followed me in the Chevelle up to Brenham, which is about a 30-minute drive. And the morning we left, it was raining. And Jake has never driven the Chevelle in the rain. And he was really nervous. And it's not like the tires on it are fine. Everything about it is fine. It's a really heavy piece of metal. Like, it's an old car. So the whole way there, it was raining. So he was just nervous. And then we got there on time. And then I had an HEB pickup. And then when we got back at maybe like 8:45. And the car detail place ended up calling me at about 1 o'clock. And they said, hey, we can't get your car to start. It's sitting in our bay, and like we're finishing up the job, but we can't get the car to start. And so they told me there was a little red security light right down there by the steering wheel, and they were like, it's croaking and beeping at us. Like, there's something going on with the alarm system. And we have an anti-theft system on our car called LoJack. And I thought, oh my gosh, when I gave them the car keys, I did not give them that fob, so the car isn't going to start without the fob. And meanwhile, the car detail place was like concerned that the battery was going to drain because that security mechanism was just going off and they couldn't get it to stop. So over time, it was like you could hear it starting to struggle a little bit. Like, it went from like beep beep to like croak croak. And so we were kind of like, okay, well, let's go pick it up and make sure, we'll bring the fob and everything and get it started up, and we'll get it out of their way, because like I'm stressed out at this point because I don't want our car to be in their way and I don't want them to not be able to do other jobs. So we jump in the Chevelle to go pick up the RAV, and Jake goes to turn the engine over and it won't start. And it's because that morning he had turned on the headlights, which is like the old-fashioned, you pull out a knob on the dash and you have to push it back in to turn the lights off. And of course, we're automatic car people now, and he had forgotten to do that, so the battery had died. And so my first thought is, okay, I'm going to call my parents because they're right next door, and maybe we can borrow one of their cars, get in the car, rush up there, get in the RAV, start it up before the battery has totally died. So I start calling my mom, no answer. Call her again, no answer. Call my dad, no answer. So then I walk next door because I know there's 2 of the 3 cars there. So like I knew my mom was sewing with her friends, and I thought, well, maybe my dad is next door. So go down to the barn. It's locked. I knock. There's no answer. I try the RV. There's no answer. And then I thought, I guess I'll try the house. So I go up to the house, and it looks totally vacant. Like it just doesn't look like anybody's home. I try the back door and it's open, and I walk in, and my dad is actually like in the living room. Sorry, Ginger is like, she really wants attention. So I said to my dad, like, can we borrow your truck so that we can go get the RAV from the car detail place? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. So he gives me the keys. We finally, after like an hour of trying to get back up to Brenham to pick up the car, finally get there, and the battery on the RAV has died. So they were able to jump start it at the car detail place. And at this point, we're like, I think it needs a new battery anyway, because it's been about 3.5, maybe, I think it's been about 4 years since we last replaced it. So Jake followed me and my dad's truck over to O'Reilly Auto Parts, and he changed the battery right in the parking lot. And like at one point, he puts the new battery into the car, like in the parking lot right outside the store. And as soon as it makes the like new connection, like, hey, it's a new battery, I'm so excited, like the car alarm starts blasting. And it sets off all the other car alarms around us. And I'm sitting in the driver's seat, like, oh my God, where are the keys to like disarm the car? So like 3 minutes of panic searching, trying to find the keys. It turns out I was sitting on them. Yeah, so Tuesday was not a great day. We finally got back, and we were just like tired after that. So obviously no filming on Tuesday. Wednesday, I went to the dentist. I had seen a dentist I saw a dentist last summer, and it was Aspen Dental. I think it's a chain, Aspen Dental, but the one in Brenham really dropped the ball. They scheduled me for a cleaning like December 11th, and I had called early in December to try to reschedule it, and they were like, well, we don't have any openings until May. So I was like, okay, I'll rearrange my life and come to this cleaning on December 11th. Well, December 10th, they called me and they say, we have to cancel your appointment because our hygienist has been called to a different location, which I thought, that is really weird. Why would they just up and leave, go to another location without a backup plan? Like, screw all the people who have appointments that day. We've got to go to this other location. So I was annoyed, but they were like, we'll call you in January to rebook you. So January comes and goes. Haven't heard anything. Mid-February, I'm like, I guess I'm going to go to a different dentist. But I tried to call them and they didn't answer the phone. So I left a message, explained the whole situation. They never called me back. And then I thought, screw it. I'm not going to chase these people down. Like, I don't want to go to the dentist. And if they don't want to see me, I don't want to see that dentist either. So I found a new dentist and they were able to see me like within 2 days. So it was already going to be a busy week. I figured I'll just go to the dentist and get that over with. And of course they do the x-rays and the whole shebang and they start looking in my mouth and they're like, yeah, these 2 fillings down here that Aspen Dental did, they didn't do a very good job. They need to be redone. So now I'm like, great. I get to go back to the dentist and have 2 fillings redone. So that was fun. I was in a foul mood after that because I've worked really hard to take care of my teeth and they're still just, they're just like prone to cavities. I don't understand. But yeah, I have to go back this Friday for fillings. And Friday, well, then my brother and his girlfriend came into town because my mom's birthday was Thursday. So I was rushing to like get her birthday present done. And then I had to make a cake and my brother and his girlfriend came down to visit. And then last night we were at a wedding. And so today, I actually took today off work and I am gonna film. So I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. So thank you for sitting through that whole monologue of my life update. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. But yeah, we've had a lot of car issues of late. What else? Oh, I filmed, if you missed it, I filmed a new, it's like a Flosstube extra. I filmed a cross-stitch pillow finishing tutorial, and that has gotten a lot of really positive feedback. So if you want to see how I finish my cross-stitch pillows, check out that video. It should be in my Flosstube playlist on this channel. But the tutorial that I filmed was for my St. Patrick's Day bowl. And this is a pattern by Brenda Gervais. Oh. I stitched these on, it's called A Lucky Day by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I stitched these on 36 count Creek Bed Brown by R&R. And it's all just DMC. So I have that one. There were 3 patterns. Oh Lucky Day. And then I think this one's like the main event. This one's so cute. Little leprechaun. So I finished these into little pillows and I filmed all of that. So if you're interested, go check that out. But got all these done and finished and ready for St. Patty's Day. And then I threw them in this little dough bowl that I got from Hobby Lobby. And I have like little glittery, no, we're not going to eat that. Man, the nerve of this dog. She's just, they're all acting up these days. I don't know what it is. But anyway, that is my St. Patty's Day bowl. So I'll put that back on the island. Thank you. Yes. So I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. My last video, I had said that I set up a buy me a coffee link for Jake because he's the one that edits my videos and makes it look coherent and organized and well thought out. And he's the one that's putting the titles of all the patterns on the screen. So he's doing all of that and he's working really hard to make these videos work for y'all so that when you're stitching you don't have to rewind or or pause and write down what I'm saying. Like, it's on the screen, and it's on the screen for the duration of the time I'm talking about it. So I had put up a link to a Buy Me a Coffee thing that I set up for Jake, and I just said, if y'all want to say thank you or drop Jake some words of encouragement. Anyway, I would get these emails that would have, you know, a message from someone and just like a little bit of money donated for Jake and his efforts, and I would go running off to tell him, and it got to the point where he was kind of overwhelmed because I don't think he's familiar with the kinder side of the internet and the cross-stitch community and the quilting community. I mean, there are so many kind people here and sincere and genuine people, and so I just thank you so much from both of us for showing him that support, and I don't really know how else to say thank you. I guess we're just kind of speechless about it, so we really appreciate you taking the time, and I read Jake every single message that y'all had said in the YouTube comments and on Buy Me a Coffee, so made sure that he heard every word, and he's very grateful, and he's very into Warhammer. If you don't know what that is, I won't bother explaining it. It's he really likes painting these little teeny tiny figures, I guess, for a tabletop game, and that's what he spent his Buy Me a Coffee money on. Y'all bought him a Warhammer set, so he was very happy. And anyway, thank you. It's certainly not necessary, but it is very much appreciated, so thank you. Do y'all like my shirt? Isn't that great? I'm gonna wear it to Easter dinner, I think. It's one of those ads that comes through on like Instagram where it's I always fall for them. Like, sometimes there's just a shirt that's too good. You gotta buy it. Okay, let me see. Where am I at? I think I'm gonna dive into my Weenie Dog Parade. And I'm gonna start with all of my Weenie Dog finishes over here. So we'll start. This is Halloweenies. I made this 2.5 years ago, maybe. I was still stitching on Lugana. You'll see that. I was still stitching on Lugana quite a bit. I was still pretty new. I wasn't really stitching on linen yet, so 25 count was kind of my comfortable spot at this time. So this would have been shortly after we moved in with my parents, which would have been late, maybe fall 2022, while we were building our house. But I stitched this on, I believe I stitched it on, it was a 25 count Lori Holt Lugana. I can't remember what it was called. It was like, maybe, was it Shadow? No, Raisin? Pebble. I don't know. But I think I just used probably just DMC. I don't see anything special about the variegation or anything. But I sewed, this was my first time doing cording, and this is not made by me. I bought it off a spool at Hobby Lobby, I think. And at the time I wasn't familiar with gluing the trim around the pillow, so I did it the old-fashioned way, and I sewed it before I turned it right side out. And it was, I just remember it was a real booger. I have not done that since. Now I just buy my trim and glue it, but it's held together pretty well. And my big ugly back, I'm trying to get out of the habit of just slicing a hole in the backing fabric to turn it right side out and then covering the hole up with something, but you know, all my cross stitch pieces just show my journey. So that's Halloweenies. And you can still get these patterns, I checked. They're not out of, I don't believe any of them are out of print. And 123 Stitch carries a lot of them, so Halloweenies. This one cracked me up when I first saw it because of the little teeny weenie. And we call Ginger Teenie all the time because she's so little. She's like, she puts the mini in miniature. But this is teeny weenie. It looks like I stitched it on Lori Holt 25 count Prim Lugana. And it's probably the overdyed cotton. But I'm not sure I like the finish on this. The pillow, it's really bulky and just really big. So I've thought about maybe redoing it, but I don't know. This was another one that I sewed the trim in and it went a lot better, but it's kind of just, it's just a big bulky finish for me. Maybe it would look cuter framed, but it's also kind of gotten a little saggy over time. But I love the colors and the little teeny tiny weenie dog and the little miniature fire hydrant. Like, that just kills me. I think that's so cute. So that's Teeny Weenie. This one is one of my favorites. This is Sweater Weather. I like can't see. Sweater Weather. And this one I did on 25 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I'm pretty sure I have my little library card back here. I used all the DMC that was called for and Classic Color Works. So I made it in October of 2022. And the cutting board I bought at Hobby Lobby. And I just added a couple of bows and an acorn. But this one was fun. There's a lot going on in it, so there was quite a bit of stitching that I had to do, but I think it turned out really cute. And I set it up on a little easel. And I pull it out around fall, Thanksgiving. Alright, this is Winter Wienerland. And I stitched this one September 2022. So I was kind of on a roll with these a few years ago. And then I kind of fell off the wagon, but now I'm back on it. This is stitched on 25 count Stormy Gray Lugana with the called for threads. And I found the wooden tree piece at Hobby Lobby. And I want to say, I think they still sell it at Christmas time. I added a bow with a jingle bell and some sprigs of cranberry. I think this piece down here was already there. And then my fabric behind the piece is like I think it's from Lori Holt's B Plaids collection. But that's just another cute stand-up piece. This one, I don't actually remember when I made this. It was one of the first things I did on Lugana. So it was probably late 2020 or 2021. And this is stitched on, I think it's 25 count Barley Lugana by Lori Holt. And I think I did use the overdyed cottons for it. I don't have any other information listed on it, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm pretty sure that's what I stitched it on. That one's really cute. Little pilgrim hat. And then, since my last video, I had a really bad experience with this, and this is the reason why it took so long for me to finish it. Probably right before we moved at the end of 2021, I was working on this, and I was working on it on 25 count Lugana, and I was stitching in a Q-snap, and I had finished the left side, And then I went to move to the right side. I moved the Q-snap and I stitched maybe 60% of the right side. And then I took the Q-snap off to look at it, and the Weenie Dog on the right side was like up 3 or 4 stitches higher than the other side, and like everything I had stitched was in the wrong place, and there was no going around it. I mean, it looked off. And I took it to Jake and I cried. And he was so good. He was like, "Oh my God, no, I'll pick it out for you. I'll frog it all out, and you don't have to do anything. I'll fix it, and then you can just start again." And I was just, it was so sweet of him to offer, but I was like, no, I'm going to put it away. I can't bear to look at it anymore. So I did not work on it I avoided it until a few weeks ago. So it only took me 3.5 years to gather the strength to do it again. And this time I decided I was going to stitch it on linen, 36 count. And it turned out so cute with the little bunny ears. I love the colors. It's just happy. And I'm trying to think, what did I stitch this on? Oh, 36 count Week Starbarks gray, which was the called for. So it worked out because my stash has grown exponentially, and I have more of the called for linens, and I don't have to kind of struggle with choosing a different one because I don't have the one it's called for. So my backing fabric for it is a poppy cotton print. I think the line was Gingham Farmhouse. That came out several years ago, so I don't know if you can still buy it. And I have my little tag that I got from Ever Emblem. Just an iron-on tag. And I filled it with sawdust, so it's nice and like nice and full. And my trim is Vanilla Chenille by Lady Dot Creates. And then I did Jeans and Weenies that I finished last week. And this one also kills me. The little pants. Like, there's even back stitching for the denim, like the yellow stitching in denim. So like the pocket and the hem of the pant leg, little back pocket is back stitched. And then of course you have the eagle riding on the back of the dog. So this is, I guess you would call this the patriotic weenie chart. And I stitched this one on the called for, which I think it's 36 count vintage pecan butter by Lakeside. And I'm very excited about my finish on this. Well, first of all, I'm still waiting for the mailman to bring my trim. It sat in Austin for a week now. So I was hoping by the time I film this it would be completely finished, but I was going to add a pom-pom trim around it in the Lady Dot vintage color. So it's like an off-white pom-pom trim. So I don't know. I'm hoping it comes today, but we'll see. So I finished it. I asked Jake, I said, "Do you have a pair of jeans you don't want anymore?" And he was like, "Sure." So he brought me a pair of his pants, and I cut them up, and I cut like a part of the pant leg off and backed it with the pant leg, and then I cut a pocket off the inside of one of the front pockets. There's usually like a second pocket tucked behind there, and so I was able to cut that apart. I kind of like folded the raw edges of the pocket back on itself, and then I just glued it right on the back. There was no sewing or anything involved with the pocket, and it's still a pocket. So I'm thinking I might get one of those little American flags that you can buy like at Hobby Lobby, just a little tiny like 8-inch. I might stick it in there, and then I'll have like a little flag coming out the back of it. But I was so proud of my jean pocket finish. And I kept the rest of his pants just in case in the future I need more denim, but this finish was brought to you by Jake's Pants. He's such a trooper. So, it's so cute. Okay, let me think. So I have all of those. This is the last one that I need to do, and I am still working on yellow polka dot Bikweenie. If you haven't seen that pattern, let me get it, and then I'm going to go to my top-down camera so we can look at it closer. Yellow polka dot Bikweenie. Yes. It makes me laugh. So, I love, look at the pineapple and like the yellow polka dot bikinis. And then you have over here a little Speedo. Cracks me up. So, this was the last Weenie Dog chart. And I am going to take y'all to my other camera so we can look at it up close because I have some things to say. All right, I just realized that I forgot one of my Weenie Dog pieces. And that was Starbarks. And I think I finished this last year. I stitched it on 36 count. I think it's Oatmeal. I think it was the called for. Let me check. I got my card back here. Ooh, it peeled up a little bit. Yes. 36 count Oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim. Washi tape just tried to peel off my cardboard. The white backing piece is just a wood. It was just like a wood thing from Hobby Lobby. I didn't paint it or anything. It came white. And then the ribbon I got at Michael's. And this little piece in the center, that is a white chocolate mocha, which is my favorite drink at Starbucks. An iced white chocolate mocha. And I got it from an Etsy shop that is no longer operating. And I don't know if maybe she had to take it down because of copyright reasons or what, but you can see in the cup it says Starbuck coffee. So I don't know if she was trying to skirt around that, but it was so cute and perfect for this piece. So maybe you can still find something similar out there, but couldn't resist. I really wanted something in the middle of my bow that would just tie it all together. So Starbarks, super cute. And we put this, I hung it up by our coffee bar. And it's just so cute. The little coffee beans. Love it. Okay, and that concludes the Weenie Parade. Okay, so this is yellow polka dot Bikweenie. And let's see. I am stitching it on Vintage Homespun by R&R, which is the called for. And I'm using all the called for threads. And I started this beginning of last week, I think. And I was really hoping I would have it finished by today, but I wasn't going to make y'all wait any longer for another video. So this is where it stands today. And I am currently over here on the bikini, but I need to rip all this out because I took the belly down one stitch too far, and then I used that as a guide for when I stitched the back end of her, and so now I realize I was off, so I have to take all that out, but I guess that was kind of where I left it last. So that's why I parked my needle here kind of weird, so that I would remember, like, I need to take this out before I move on. But yes, the little teeny weenie with the Speedo. I can't take it. And the swim trunks. It's a lot of fun. I did also order a frame for this last week. So maybe the next time y'all see this, I will have it fully finished. The frame I ordered from Hobby Lobby is yellow, which is kind of a bold frame color for me at least, but I think I'm going to hang it in my sewing room so it'll really pop off of my blue walls. But it's so cute. So that's that one. And what else have I been working on? All right, the next project I worked on since my last video, this is Pineberry Lane Sarah Barker, and I saw this on 123 Stitch and I really loved all the colors in it. And the, oh, what is the fabric? See, it's been so long since I've filmed that I don't remember. I always think I'm going to remember my linen, but I'm pretty sure it's a Lakeside, but it is not the called for. Maybe it's vintage pecan butter. It could be. But anyway, I got the whole border done. As far as I know, everything is correct. I did all the bones, and it's kind of tricky because this border is not symmetrical. So you think you've got it down and memorized, and then it throws a wrench in, and suddenly you're doing something different. So if you're going to stitch this, keep that in mind. But these are all the colors. These are the called for colors. I just thought it was really neat. It's like just a nice springtime project. So, and there is some satin stitching in this as well. So I don't know if you can see. I've kind of done a little bit of it up here by in the flower. But I'm looking forward to adding a little bit more color to this soon. And I'll probably put it in a frame, hang it on the wall maybe. So that's Pineberry Lane Sarah Barker. And then I am doing a stitch along with Emily at Shady Grove Stitcher, and we are doing Dasher and Dancer by Hobby House Press. And we started in March. We have assignments. Emily sketched out like a monthly plan that will have us completing this hopefully by November. We'll see. I feel like I'm already behind. There have been a number of people who've already finished the March assignment, which is the top, the whole alphabet at the top, the border at the top, and then I think the small border directly under those big letters, I want to say. As you can see, I have not finished mine yet, but I am finally finding my stride with it. I was using a hoop, and I am not a hoop stitcher. I like to stitch in hand, and the hoop slows me down so much, and my patience, I just don't have the patience. So I did end up removing the hoop and going back to my stitching in hand method, and I was able to knock out these two letters very quickly. So I'm thinking once I sit down with this again, I will be able to make much better progress than I have. But I think someone said we've been calling this border up here, we've been calling them boobies, for lack of a better term. And I think there are 55 of them, and I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 11 or 12. So I have a ways to go. But luckily, the border is something that you memorize pretty quickly because it's the same thing over and over. So I'm kind of trying to work on the big letters in between the boobies so that I can break it up some. But I'm stitching it on 40 count winter. Is it Winter White by Seraphim? Let me look. Yes, I am stitching it on 40 count Winter White by Seraphim, and my my chosen thread color is a Gloriana called, I think it's called Cranberry. Oh, good, I was right. Yes, it's called Cranberry. Really pretty, and there's quite a bit of variegation in it, so it'll add some visual interest the more I get going on it. So that is my progress on Dasher and Dancer, and I hope by the end of the month that I have completed what I need to complete, because I don't want to fail at my own stitch along, you know. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep at it. And those that are stitching along, thank you for posting your progress and tagging me and Emily, because I love to see how many people are doing it and what their choices and colors are. I think that's really neat, and it keeps me motivated to pull mine out and continue. It's a big chart and it's a lot to take in, but I think once you see how Emily has broken it up, and I'll post the link below, but she has a free PDF download where you can see how she has divided up the chart into more manageable bits and pieces, so that we can tackle this 1 month at a time and have it ready for the holidays this year. I have also, so if you follow Elle Snaps on Instagram, she has a YouTube channel as well. Her birthday was February 19th, and she decided that she wanted to start Elizabeth Furniss, and she wanted me to stitch along with her on that day. So I pulled out my pattern and I started working on the rows, and I made a good dent. There's still quite a bit left to do on it. I've got the top half almost done, and I've kind of just been treating it one page at a time. So that's literally like where the page ended. So I figure that's probably going to be a little bit easier for me to manage, just because anytime there's a chart that gets cut off and you have to kind of like visually piece it back together on a different page, that always trips me up really bad. So I'm trying to tackle it in a way that I can set myself up for success, but that's kind of where I left off. I worked on that, and I'm really looking forward to pulling this out and working on it some more, because I do really like the colors, and it's just a fun sampler, and it's huge, and I think it would be a really great feeling to finish something so big and intense, especially all the stitching down here, and that's a lot of work. But I also worked on that, and this is on 36 count Bee's Knees by Seraphim, and I'm just using the DMC for it. I don't have any of the silks, and I think the DMC looks great. So that is that one. And then yesterday, before we left for the wedding, I really wanted to start To Quote Shakespeare by With Thy Needle and Thread. I saw Christy at Crosshatch Quilts mention this. I think it might have been in January. I ordered the pattern so fast because I had never seen it. And you'd think by now we'd have all seen all the With Thy Needle and Thread charts. I'm still seeing ones that I've never seen before. So I jumped online and I ordered this, I believe, from Farm Girl Dry Goods, and she might still have some, but you can still find it online for sale if this is something you want to stitch. So I started this yesterday before we left for the wedding, and I wanted to share the thread colors because they're so pretty. I love it. I love the pinks and the reds. It's just fun. And I have, so the hoop in the box, I guess, I think it's a 3-inch hoop, and I think all of that stitching is done over one, so that should be interesting when I get to it. And I did track down, I couldn't find, so on the pattern it says that you can order the box, like a paper mache box, from Brenda's website. Of course it's not available, and I don't know if it ever will be. So I kind of had to figure it out on my own, and I ended up finding a paper mache box from a website, factorydirectcraft.com, and I paid more for shipping than I did for this. I think the box was like $4.61 and the shipping was like $7.95, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna fit on this. It might be a little bit too short, but the called for fabric on the chart is 40 count and I'm using 36, so my pattern itself is going to finish a little bigger. But I'm hoping that it works out and it fits. It'll be just barely, just about right. So I did find a box that I think will work, and I don't think I need the lid for it, but we'll see. So I'm like all ready to go. I'm still looking for my red ticking fabric, which goes on the inside of the box. But I just thought that's such a cool pattern. I think I can, finishing it should be interesting, but I think I can do it. So that's that one. I think that's all of my current projects. So WIPCO for February. I showed my pink house sampler on my last video. This was the other WIPCO project that I worked on in February, and I regret to inform you that I only did 2.5 hours of stitching on it. My goal was to do 6 to 8 hours. I just was not feeling it. It's a Christmas chart. It was February. I worked on it a lot in December, and I was kind of burned out on it already. So when the number was called, I was not super excited to get to it, but I thought maybe if I give it some time, it'll grow on me and I'll want to. But really, I mean, I just kind of spent most of the 2.5 hours filling in my bricks, which that's tedious in itself. So didn't really do anything else on it other than the bricks. And I mean, that's a lot of stitching. So I gave it a good 2.5 hours, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna work on something else. Maybe the mood will strike me later, but it never did. So, but you know what? It got a few stitches in it, so it did get some attention, which is the whole point of WIPCO, right? So maybe the next time it's called, I'll be more motivated to work on it. But for now, I'm just gonna put it up. So the numbers that were called for March, surprise, surprise, is Anne Grimshaw, which is the same number that, or the same project that was called in January. So I started it in January as a WIPCO, and this is how far I got, which actually is not bad. That's more than I remember. But basically, I'm only up here in the top left corner. So for the month of March, of course it's like, what is it, March 10th now? I've been so distracted because there's been so many cool, like, there's so many things I want to stitch and there's not enough time. But hopefully this will see some love this month. And I hope I can do maybe another 6 to 8 hours on this one, because I do like this. And I like that all of the motifs are they kind of stand on their own, so I can tackle one motif at a time, and we'll see how far I get. But that will be WIPCO for March. And then the other WIPCO number that was called was Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And I am stitching all of my blocks separately. I thought it would be easier to keep up with it if I tackled them individually. Because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes when you're stitching a really, really big project, you just kind of get a little burned out. And then it tends to sit and collect dust for a while. And I thought if I do these individually, maybe I'll be more likely to finish them if I treat each block as an individual finish. Now, this is block 5. I've done blocks 1 through 4. This one is almost done. I just have to fill in the water at the bottom. But this block is literally like 99% fill. So it's a lot of stitching. So this one's kind of been festering for a bit. I did bring in my first 4 blocks. I'll show you. This is how I'm finishing them. And my plan is to eventually one day have like a dough bowl or a tiered tray that basically maps out the verse of this poem. If you didn't know, it's a poem by Thomas Beddoes, I think is his last name. I'll have Jake put it up on the screen, but I've been finishing them with, I was using Teresa Kogut's Halloween line. Oh, there's a whole bunch of dog hair on that. And of course doing my ugly Frankenstitch lace cover on the back, but filling with crushed walnut shells and polyfill. And I got Lady Dot Creates trim that I glue around the edges. And I'm thinking for the next block, once I finish the shipwreck block, I think I might do this one because it's the next block with the verse on it. And I figure at the very least I should finish all the blocks that have text on it so I have a verse. And then maybe I'll go back. I really like the train block. This one's going to be full coverage, so that's going to take a decade. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to do the witches. If I did the witches, I would do it on its own and then probably frame it and set it up like next to the tiered tray. But this is kind of one of those long-term projects, and I think I started it maybe a year and a half ago. And I'm not sick of it or anything. I still really like it. And I'm looking forward to getting this one done because it really only needs maybe an evening of dedicated stitching. And then that will be finished. So my goal is to finish block 5. And then I think I'm going to start this one and see how far I get with it. Maybe I'll light a fire under myself. So that's Whip Go. I don't have that much haul. I got some monthly Fabric Club orders. I got, if you're part of the Seraphim Fabric Club and you have not gotten yours yet, you might want to mute or pause or skip. But I got my shipment from Seraphim and it is Country Mouse. And it's really pretty. It's like a beigey gray, a greige. I think it'd be great for some Brenda Gervais projects, actually. So I got that. And then my Fox and Rabbit shipment came. And this was kind of a fun surprise because it's definitely like a minty, bluish green color. I don't have a lot of fabrics that aren't neutral, so this is just kind of a fun. I'll have to think about what I want to stitch on this because that's just really pretty. And then I also, I had pre-ordered Gallows Hill from Needle and Flax because I have the chart from Plum Street, and I thought, well, I should probably get the linen before you can't get the linen anymore. So I did get my Gallows Hill 36 count linen. So I'll be ready to go when I'm ready to start that chart, maybe later this year. And then I also got, everyone's been talking about these thread storage boxes, and I got a couple to try, but they're from Amazon and they're by the Quilted Bear, and I think they're maybe $7, and they're plastic, just plastic boxes, and they fit 27 spools. So my Overiswa 103s will fit in this, and I'm just kind of experimenting to see if I like storing them that way. But I ordered 3 because I read in the reviews that some of them tend to arrive cracked or broken, and I thought, well, I'm gonna get 3, and if one arrives broken, at least I'll have 2, you know, and then I can return the broken one and still have 2. They all came unscathed, so if you want one and you're looking for something to store your spools in, they will fit in these boxes. I'll link it below. And then lastly, I did finally cave. I actually wanted this pattern a few years ago, but I was still not super confident as a stitcher. I did buy Anton Ufendel. And I think when I first saw this pattern, what scared me away was the price, because it was $30. And now, like, that price is kind of funny to me because $30, that's it. I'm gonna stitch it on 36 count, or was it 40? I ordered the fabric for it. I had to order a fat half. I think maybe I'm doing it on 40 count. So it should finish at 16 by 19. So it's big. But I saw Stitch Bead is stitching this, and Stitch and Gem is working on, is it this one? Oops. Yes, I think it's this one. And then Stitch Bead is doing her sister Isabella Ufendel as well. But I was really drawn to the basket at the bottom. I don't know why. That just jumped out at me, and that was something that I really liked. So I have the chart, and I did get all of the silks for it. So I think I need to get like my label maker out and maybe like label my box Anton Ufendel. The only thing I don't like about the boxes is they don't fit in my project bags very well at all. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to tackle that. But for now, it works, and it keeps them from rolling around loose in the bag and getting tangled. So got that. I don't know when I'm going to start it. I think the fabric is out for delivery right now, so maybe my next video I'll have more to share on that. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. I wonder if this will be a really short video. I had to do this for Ginger. I know, it's terrible. She hates it. But look how cute you are. Oh, she's having a crisis. But I had to do it because the bunnies in spring rolls, we had to get bunny ears for the weenie. She's really upset. She hates wearing clothes. I was like, we need to do this. I'm trying to get like a cover photo. Oh, it's terrible. Ginger, look at the camera. No, go this way. There. Maybe you can get a good cover photo. Poor Ginger. Poor little baby Jane. My poor Jane. She's so pretty. She's so puny and pitiful. She's so puny and pitiful. This is like the worst thing that's ever happened to you ever. Alright, I wasn't going to buy 2 sets of these, so they're sharing. Oh. He's much more receptive to wearing things. Look at how cute he is. Look at Whiskey. Look over here. Look over here. Look at how cute you are. Yes. So here's Whiskey representing. Yep. Gosh, the things you can find on the internet now. Yeah. You don't like it either. It's kind of annoying. Hmm? Look at him. Just a cute little bunny. Are you just a cute little bunny? Huh. Thank you. Alright, so as far as plans go, I have my WIPGO projects pulled out, and I'm going to get back to doing, I want to finish the yellow polka dot Bikweenie chart before my next video. I also want to work on To Quote Shakespeare and Elizabeth Furniss. I'm going to try to make that a monthly project on the 19th for Lisa and her birthday. I'm not sure if she's doing that too, or if it was just a February birthday start for her, but I really like that chart and I enjoy working on it, so I'm thinking I'm going to pull that one out every month on the 19th. And yeah, pretty much just stitch all the things and hope there's enough time in the day. There usually isn't. There's so much I want to stitch and not enough time. I'm sorry if you can hear our washing machine. But yeah, I'm making project bags slowly. I'm sort of trying to accumulate enough inventory before I list them for sale. I want people to have enough of a chance to grab one if they want. So I'm trying to build inventory, and so on the weekends I kind of try to make 3 or 4 if I'm lucky. But I have some Halloween ones that I'm working on right now that I hope to have finished this week. And then I might look around my stash and see what other fabrics I have that would make a good like project bag. What else? I guess that's more or less it. I will trim their toenails before my next video. And other than that, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to comment or message me. I am happy to answer questions. I don't want anybody wondering things. So I do have some quilts to share as well, which I'll have Jake insert at the end of this. I have a couple of dachshund quilts, so the Weenie Parade continues a little bit through my quilting. And then I have a couple of Lori Holt quilts that people asked me to share. So I have my mercantile quilt that I finished last year to share, and then what was it? I was gonna finish, or I finished Hometown, which is hanging up here. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull that down and oops, that's the microphone. I'm gonna pull that down and take some videos and pictures of that up close for y'all. So other than that, hopefully this week is going to be a lot quieter and I'll be able to do what I want to do and not stuff I have to do. So hopefully it'll be a little bit less stressful that way. But anyways, if you've watched this far, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great few weeks, and I hope to be back. I say 2 weeks, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know how people stick to these rigid schedules of every 2 weeks. Like it's hard. It's a lot of setup and disassembling and organizing and note taking. And I feel like I could have done this video so much better, but at least I'm doing it. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye. Ginger. Quiet on set. Yes. We can't have a Weenie Dog Parade without whiskey. Right? Yeah. I don't want to be licked. Keep it in your mouth. No.